ASVAB is the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery Test. And it's a aptitude test, which means that it helps us figure out what jobs we can offer you based on what you know through real world experience and what you've learned in a classroom environment. Now, you will be tested on 9 sections of the ASVAB, including mathematical knowledge, arithmetic reasoning, word knowledge, paragraph comprehension, general science, shop, electronics, mechanics, and assembling shapes. Now, as your recruiter and as you being the applicant, there are 2 scores that we're all concerned about, and that is your AFQT score and your line scores. The AFQT score is like your overall score, okay? And it just means that you can sign a contract, okay? And your line scores dictate your job skills, okay? 31 to 99 is considered a passing score. Note, and a 30 doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have options. We do have 3 very unique specific programs currently for the Army that you can possibly use to still be able to contract in the Army as a whole. I will link those 3 videos down below for you to check out, and anything else I talk about in this video. Scoring a 31 is being the minimum score required to pass the test and again, sign a contract, with a 99 being the highest one can score. Now, unlike high school where 65 to 70% is passing, the ASVAB is based on a percentile, not a percentage, okay? So you're being compared to others with the same education level. The AFQT score is comprised of mathematical knowledge, arithmetic reasoning, word knowledge, and paragraph comprehension. Line scores takes a combination of all the sections, and it varies based on your branch of service, ranging from 4 line scores upwards to the Army as having 10 line scores. Now, the US Army has 10 line scores, with a score of an 85 or better being the minimum line score to begin to qualify for your MOS. In the Army, we call it MOS, meaning that your military occupation specialty, which is essentially your job skill. Now, test results are immediate, and if MEPS doesn't tell you, your recruiter can look them up later, okay? There are 2 types of testing options, or versions, if you will. You have the CAT ASVAB test, which is a computerized version conducted at MEPS, and a paper version, which will be conducted at a MET site or an alternate location. MEPS, your military entrance processing station version, is going to be conducted with the CAT ASVAB, meaning it's a computer adaptive test version. The CAT ASVAB has 145 questions, which you will complete within 3 hours or less. Kind of like your SATs in high school, with each section having a limited amount of time for a bunch of questions, okay? The CAT ASVAB is an adaptive test, which means that the test questions get harder and harder with every correct answer you answer correctly. If you get one question wrong, the next question will become much easier. The CAT ASVAB version, the test results are immediately available. So if MEPS doesn't inform you of your score when you finish the test, your recruiter will have to look them up on his computer online when they get the next available chance. Now, the other ASVAB testing version is conducted at a MET site, or a mobile examination test site, which is an alternate location for testing away from MEPS. Now, MET site test versions consist of 225 questions, which is significantly more than the 145 that you would get at MEPS, okay? And because it is 225 questions, it's going to take much longer due to having more questions. Now, this paper version test with the scan form, or the Scantron that you will bubble in, my advice to you is don't make the mistake of skipping a question on the test, but forget to skip the answer on the answer key or the Scantron that you're bubbling in, because doing this mistake will get every single answer within your bubble Scantron wrong thereafter. So in this version, testing results will take a few days to a week, worst case scenario, and will populate into our recruiting applicant processing software that we use as recruiters, and we will look it up at that time. Now, if you fail the ASVAB test, you have 3 more attempts. So you have a total of 4 attempts to be able to pass the ASVAB test within a 24-month or a 2-year time frame, with a minimum waiting period in between each attempt or retest. So after the first test, you will have 30 days in which you will have to wait to retest. After the second retest, you again have to wait another 30 days. If you don't get the score you need on the second one, you will have to wait 6 months after the third test. And if you fail the fourth test, which is the fourth and final retest option, you'll have to wait 12 months or wait until after the 2-year anniversary from you taking your initial test. And then the system will reset and give you 4 more attempts. Note, in my 20 plus years of recruiting experience, if you pass but score less than a 50 and you desire to retest for whatever your reasons are, don't. 9 out of 10 people or higher will do far worse, and it's not uncommon for them to get a failing score afterwards. So just a heads up, just understand that your latest score is now for record, and any previous score that you've obtained and earned are invalid and cannot be used no matter what. No exceptions to that rule. So it is best to keep your passing score and later in your career go through a course called the BSEP course to train you for up to 3 weeks and then retest to hopefully increase your overall scores. So in my opinion, it's not worth having you delay your service because you have to retest again and possibly again and again to eventually pass it. So first things first, figure out your why, because without a strong why, you will make the mistake of not studying or waiting until the last minute to study and not get the results that you wanted because you failed to put in the effort. So write down your goals to why you want to join. Now, in my opinion, 2 things will determine your Asvab success, with the first one being discipline. Motivation is fleeting and it comes and it goes. It's like showering. You don't need it, but it's nice to have, all right? So with that being said, start with your why, and your why has to be bigger than your strongest excuse, all right? We're all humans, and well, life is lifing, and I get that. So whether you feel like it or not, having that self-discipline is what's going to keep you from, or keep you being consistent and the quality of your sessions worth it. The second thing is dedication. There is a major difference between being committed to something and being interested. Now, if you're interested, you'll find an excuse. But if you're committed, it won't matter if you're tired, hungry, or unmotivated. If it's important to you, you will make the time and the effort, or you will make up a bullshit excuse. Just shooting at 100 with you. In my 20 years of experience, 95% of the applicants that say they want to study don't study at all, or they half-ass it. And they literally wait until the last minute to study, maybe even the night before, and they cram in several hours. And then they get upset that they did horribly. Nearly every time pulling up to MEPS and I ask them, have they studied the last couple of weeks or a month? And they really say, no, not really, or just last night. It's crazy to me, right? So any resources that I'm about to mention in this section will be linked down below for you to check out and use, okay? So with that said, don't take the practice tests and say to yourself that this is actually studying. Taking just practice tests without learning anything new is not studying. It's just testing you on what you know. I'll include a couple of practice tests for you below, but only use them at the end of each week that you're studying with your deliberate and consistent studying. Albert Einstein once said that repeatedly doing the same thing over and over and over again, but expecting a different result, is the definition of insanity. You have to be learning or relearning your 10th grade level math and English to be able to improve your overall test scores. Unless your practice test shows you step-by-step, Barney style, on how to get to the correct answer, it's a waste of time and effort. Only use those types of practice tests once per week to check on learning or check your progress. Now, in my opinion, if you're scoring above a 20, you'll only need a couple of weeks to a month at best, if that, providing that you actually put in the work and the effort that I'll be sharing with you within this video. If you score below a 20, you're probably gonna need to hire a tutor, and to be quite honest with you, you're going to need a lot of work and a lot of effort on your end. Your studying should be with a sense of purpose, a high sense of purpose. highly focused, laser focused, and with the constant daily study sessions versus a half-assed long 4-hour cram session maybe once or twice a week. With that said, scientifically and statistically speaking, breaking up your study sessions into smaller and daily chunks have proven to help with retaining what you're learning, which increases the probability of you passing the Asvab with my tips and qualify for more jobs. So hear me out. My recommendation is that you study for 30 to 60 minutes per session and study 1 to 2 times per day with the goal of a minimum of 1 hour being your daily standard. Study 1 hour per day. So that's 7 hours per week, and that's 28 to 31 hours per month to make this happen. Too easy. Also, it's better to take a 5-minute break in between each 30-minute session or blocks of studying for maximum effectiveness in retaining what you're learning. And again, this is backed up by science, all right? I'm not lying, I'm not kidding. You can do the research yourself and figure it out. But choose the best time of day that you're most energetic and eliminate all distractions. And I mean all distractions, okay? That means turn off your daggone TV, your radio, you don't need that. Put your phone on airplane mode, take off your smartwatch, all right? And find a quiet room with good lighting. I highly suggest that you write down your notes, you rewrite your notes, and maybe even type them up. And then at the end of the day, you read and reread your notes, which will help you through the repetition of seeing, writing, typing, and reading the information, right? The repetition helps it stick more effectively. So to pass the Asvab, focus on the 2 math and 2 English sections, all right? Because again, this is what makes up your AFQT score, and this allows you to be able to sign a contract scoring a 31 or better. The other parts of the test is what helps you qualify for Asvab. So those are secondary efforts to study, all right? So the primary focus is on the math and the English. So when it comes to vocabulary or word knowledge, unless you memorize every word in the dictionary, studying prefixes and suffixes won't do much for you, in my opinion. So focus on the math and the arithmetic because it's the easiest to learn in the shortest time period, and paragraph comprehension is all about strategy. On your free time, the secondary study sessions, like at your leisure, right? You will read through the skill sections of the book, which will increase your job options or your line scores to qualify for more jobs, right? Math and English, pass a test, be able to sign a contract. Read through the skill section, but don't make that your primary focus, will help you increase your line scores to qualify for more jobs. Any Asvab book from any year is going to be just fine. It doesn't have to be this year's, all right? You can even go to your local library and save $20, or you can buy it online. Again, link down below if you want. If your local library doesn't have it, I will link down below a full version, digital version of the Asvab for Dummies book. Seriously, don't worry if you have a book from 2020. It has literally, all right, the Asvab test has been the same test for over 2 decades with no changes. Any book will work if you use it consistently on a daily basis. All right, so any book will do. I cannot stress that enough. All right. Here are a couple of the Asvab themed YouTube channels that will help you study on various topics, which include Grammar Hero and Gaminal Tutors. I will also include 3 specific videos for Colfax Math that want their quiz videos. So we have a math video and then 2 arithmetic videos that have helped out many of my applicants who actually put in the effort. So Gaminal Tutors does offer online courses and tutoring services, but Grammar Hero does not, all right? He doesn't think that charging people for his services and them failing sits well with him. I disagree with that mindset because you can't control with the level of commitment and effort that one puts into their studies. It's the applicant's responsibility to do their due diligence and to study and be consistent with that and help themselves and set themselves up for success. So if you're scoring less than 20 or below on the Asvab, tutoring is going to be a must for you, and tutoring is going to be expensive, costing you over $300. Now, which is why I recommend MOMETRIX, which is today's video sponsor. They have all kinds of different tools and different ways to teach you and for you to learn based on the method that you find most useful. Now, they have everything from over 270 how-to videos to over 320 flashcards to over 1,500 practice test questions and over 100 study lessons. What I appreciate most about their practice tests is that they'll break it down to you Barney style, showing you step by step, leading you to the correct answer. This is just one of many awesome paid Asvab resources that are out there. This is just one of them, but with MOMETRIX, it is a small investment of $40 per month, and you'll get a proven structured plan of action when prepping for the Asvab, and this is priceless. It's way cheaper than hiring an online or in-person tutor, but you do what you think you can handle and what your situation can handle, all right, if that makes sense. Just like anything, this resource is a simple tool, and the tool is only as effective as the effort and the consistency that you put into it when using this tool on a daily basis. Now, personally, I think $40 is a reasonable price point, worth giving it a try for at least 1 month. And honestly speaking, the majority of the applicants out there only need it for a couple of weeks to a month anyway, as long as they put in the deliberate and consistent daily effort. Make sure that you use the checkout code of SWARTZ20. You'll save 20% on your purchase and any other subsequent month that you keep their services. So a huge shout out and a thank you to MOMETRIX for reaching out to me and sharing us this amazing program. I appreciate you and thank you so much. So I will link several free websites down below for you to also check out, which will include asvabtutor.com and asvabpracticetest.com, just to mention a few, but I'll have some more down there for you to check out as well. Be sure to browse it and all that good stuff. And don't forget, I also have the full version, digital version of the Asvab for Dummies book that you can download as well. All right, so let's talk about the testing strategy. All right, this is exactly what I tell every single one of my applicants who's about to take the test and walk into MEPS. So this is part of my MEPS briefing, if you will. All right, it all starts with a good night's rest, a minimum of 78 hours of sleep. Make sure that you eat breakfast and or a snack leading up to the test. And MEPS is very, very cold. So make sure you wear a sweatshirt, but not a hoodie, not during the test. They don't like hoodies during the test. So I want you focused on the test, not on how cold you are. So make sure you wear a sweater. The first section of the test that you will take is the general science, and it is boring as hell. I get it, but don't sleep on it. Do your best. It is still just as important. All right. From there, you will knock out the 2 math and 2 English sections. So don't spend too much time on any given one question. All right. And remember, if the questions are getting harder and harder, that means that you're doing good. But if you get one wrong, the next one after that will be much easier. So when I was growing up, school always told me during multiple choice tests that when in doubt, choose option C. But in this case, for the military test, for the ASVAB, the choices are 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you will choose option 3, which is equivalent to C. So when in doubt, choose option 3. Pay attention to the countdown clock for in the last 15 seconds. I want you to rapidly choose 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3 until you answered all the unanswered questions that you have remaining, because for every question that you don't get to answer before the time runs out will be automatically marked wrong. Doing this gives you a 25% chance of getting it right versus a 100% chance of it getting wrong for not even trying. All right. When it comes to paragraph comprehension, I want you to read the question first so you know what you're looking for within the paragraph. Once you find the answer in the first couple of sentences, stop reading. All right. The rest of the paragraph is designed to waste your time. And then from there, you're going to choose the best multiple choice answer. When it comes to the skills sections of the test, or anywhere else on the test for that matter, there's the correct answer, a close answer, an answer that's off, and one that's way off. Use the process of elimination. You can definitely narrow it down most times to a 50-50 choice and make an informed decision. But again, if you can't make an educated guess, you're going to choose what? That's right, option 3. So being nervous is perfectly normal. And if you do finish a test and you feel like you failed, in my experience, you probably passed. But if you come out of the test feeling confident or overly confident and you think that you passed, you probably failed. Don't sleep or say F it during the assembling shapes at the very end of the Asvab. You'll be tired, irritable, and at this point, you're probably hungry and you just want to get out of there, but hang in there. Do your best. This section is actually pretty important to help you qualify for some of the jobs that may be offered to you. All right, so do your best. Here's what I want you to keep in mind. I want you to believe in yourself. I don't care if you're down to your last freaking dollar. Always bet on yourself. Stay focused and determined. All right. The ASVAB will be challenging, but so will your military service. So this is the first chance that you have to prove that you have what it takes. So don't stop when you're tired, when you're studying, stop when you're done. Approach each section with determination and give it your all. Stay calm and focused. Take deep breaths and stay focused on one question at a time. Don't let testing anxiety overwhelm you. The most important conversations that you'll ever have are the ones that you talk to yourself with, all right? Keep your inner dialogue positive and encouraging. Do not think or speak or project negatively. Remember your why. Think about why you want to join the military in the first place. Let that motivation drive you forward. So come prepared for this, and now is the time to show what you're capable of. Go in there with confidence, fake it till you make it, stay focused, and give it your best shot. Again, I believe in you, and I am so excited, super excited to see you succeed. Good luck, and may the Swartz be with you. With that being said, Team Swartz signing out.
Just wanna be a mini me.